But and I know, Laura, you've got lots of experience with short-term competition and with several challenges and Alberta Winter Games, and reigning gold medalist from the Alberta Winter Games as head coach. So it's interesting, those pieces to do with breaking down the game, breaking down the tournament as short-term competition, and then looking at it. And I think that it'd be interesting to see if you could ask those players and ask the coaching staff after the fact, what did you learn from the experience? What was your key takeaway? What do you need to get better at with that growth mindset? So,
Laura, are you still on?
Yep, I'm still here, just listening.
I'm curious about when I watched you at the Alberta Winter Games win the gold medal, and going through that tournament. It's not 54 days like this one, not the same degree of hype, but the program of excellence is designed to prepare for those young players for the one or two that might come out of the province to make the team. What was your take watching the World Juniors relative to having coached in short term? How do you compare those two? Do you have any takeaways from the men?
Yeah, you know what? It was interesting listening to kind of the conversation about, the adversity piece we talked about a little while ago. But the thing that I kind of took away from that is not so much, hoping for that loss. I think it's more so the adversity piece and what you do with that, whether that be you face a team where you still win the game, but the game wasn't great, and so you're having to make kind of adjustments as you go, versus even having to have a loss, because we've all coached in games which we've won but we probably shouldn't have. And I think just even being able to have one of those off games or off periods or kind of moments where you do have to take the team in and go, okay, what did we learn from that period? Or how, what can we do better, or how can we improve, or what did we see, and have the players be able to give that feedback back to the coaches and to the rest of the group. I find that to be the biggest thing, and that was a huge key in Winter Games for me last year. We lost one game in the round robin, but it was a very bad game. We should not have lost that game, and the girls were very down on themselves. And it was actually became a very interesting bonding moment where we had a little kind of kumbaya of the girls facing that adversity head on and using it to inspire each other to rise above that adversity and face that adversity. And then we ended up going on and winning, but it wasn't like with the team that I had, we should have flown through that tournament. So I think that, watching that World Junior team, it would have been, I kind of agree with not wanting to coach to lose, or kind of wanting that loss on your plate, but almost just even having a period, or even a little like blip in their play where you can kind of have those moments of camaraderie. And we don't know if they had that. They seem like a pretty close team, but I think there comes a time when you do face that challenge, and it's very public, right? So that's kind of was my takeaway when I was watching those teams. It seemed that everybody kind of wanted to do each other's jobs at some point, and it was a very close game. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about being able to face that adversity and turn inwards as a group and use that to build.
Laura, you said one thing, and this is what I'm curious about. I wonder, and I don't know, but when you coached that team in the Alberta Games, you said you asked the players, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So you actually listened to your players and you drew out of them their thoughts and feelings to become a part of the uh, energy to go forward.
Oh, absolutely.
And my question is, does this happen at the World Juniors? Are they asking players, or are the players waiting for the answers from the coaches? And that's a completely different level of coaching we're moving towards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very, very important. I think I know that with Barry's work with the Program of Excellence and the U17 teams, that Socrates method of coaching and questioning and engaging players is going to get better results. And I'm curious to know is where are we at relative to that? Where are the Finns at? And how many other countries are doing that? Because it's sort of a shared responsibility. The team is everyone, not just the coaches. So that's the one thing I wonder about at this level, is that the coaches competing with themselves, amongst themselves, to deliver the message that needs to be delivered, or are they involving the players in that process? So, and I have no idea where they're at. But I believe that's what I mean about moving forward in 21st century coaching. That's the way to go. And I'm glad to see that you've had that experience. So,
well, and I'm wondering, Wally, if you don't mind, just because I don't coach boys and I never have, but I'm wondering if that even happens or starting to happen at all in the minor level, because I coach the female midget AAA team now, and um, I find it way harder to engage with those girls. So many of them are so concrete in the way they've been coached that even that questioning and getting them to really think for themselves is very difficult. It's we found it to be quite hard to get them to open up and think for themselves, right? Like it's not coach telling you go here, do this, do this. It's that, Wally, like you mentioned, that questioning, right? What did you see? What, how could this have worked better? Or how, what worked, what didn't? And is that something, do you guys know that's happening on the guys' side at all?
I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking our entire Skype session, it would
Mm-hmm.
be great to have 5 of the players on, but we would have to keep it private, I'm sure, to talk about what kind of communication actually went on, but just asking them their thoughts and what they would have done or thought about. Or did they even think about it? Did they just want to do what they were told? Um, did they just fit into the roles that they were morphed into over the course of the tournament? That's what intrigues me about this. Is I think there's so much potential to go beyond what the game is moving forward uh, with what you're experiencing. And um, I believe, in my experience in minor hockey, that is non-existent now. The potential to do that is unbelievable. It's infinite, but it may be lost in the shuffle, the the political shuffle of the way things are always done, because that's the way we do things, and that's what worries me. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Rick, I'm going to ask you, Rick, did the inquiry or Socrates method enter your mindset when you were coaching midget AAA and playing in the max? Or is that something that's new?
I would have to say it's more new than not, Wally. My own particular style was to involve a lot of discussion, more so than what I had experienced prior to myself being a coach. But it's something that I've adopted more recently, and if given the opportunity again, would use more liberally than I have in the past.
I guess I was going to say, sort of to Laura's point, which is a good one about when things are going really well as it did for Canada, it's really incumbent on the staff to maintain perspective and stay level-headed and honestly evaluate the team's performance. And I think it's very likely that after the Slovakia game, for instance, which was a lot tighter than anybody would like it, and maybe tighter than people thought it would be, that they probably had that sort of discussion, like as Laura's suggesting, that hey, we won the game, but what do we have to do better, or here's what we need to do better, and then they go out the next game and blow Switzerland out 10-0. But so then again to Rick's point, you start building that momentum where you're just like rolling. And so I was a little nervous going into the Finland game, thinking, oh man, has it been too easy to this point? And then they're totally dominant against Finland for the first two periods, like almost as good as I've ever seen a team play in terms of puck decisions and territorial advantage and goal score, everything. So they just had it hitting on all, and then they go out and do it again against in their next two games. But it's a really important point that it's definitely up to the coaching staff to maintain perspective, stay grounded, and make sure the players are honestly evaluating both the team game overall and their individual games. So it's a really, really good point. And again, I don't think you hope you lose, but obviously everybody knows that a loss in this short-term event doesn't mean it's over. It's a chance to refocus and see experience some real adversity. But so all good points.